Hello everyone and welcome again to the Getcast podcast with myself, Julianne Restall, owner of Stessy Shoots, but more importantly, like yourself, I'm an actor and performer in the industry who wants to know the 411 of the industry. And today I have a very special guest and friend. His name is Vikesh Godhwani and he is a director, writer and producer based here in London in the UK. And today he's here to talk to us about his angle on all things getting cast. So everyone welcome on Vikesh. Thank you, Vikesh.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, Vic.
Of course.
Vikesh was telling me before we started that he just started The Artist's Way. And this morning he did his first morning pages.
Yes, I did my first morning pages. It feels good because I've been wanting to start it for a while and having the feeling of, okay, I managed to start today. I'm really not a morning person, so waking up extra early before I came here to actually sit down, dedicate some time to do it means that a part of me is like, okay, it's time.
Nice. So it's like a... You said it's a contract with yourself to give yourself mindful space.
Exactly. You literally in the book have to sign like a contract with yourself, and it's a 12-week process, but some people have done it for years now. So I really believe there's a meditative quality to waking up and just writing 3 pages of your thoughts and dumping all of that into it, and then going into the day having dumped all your shit
all your shit
into there, and it's really great. And I'm going into a really busy period now.
Good.
Before I enter it, I really want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself as a person as well, because often all of those things kind of go out the window when you're really busy.
Yes.
And I don't want to do that this time, because the recovery out of that busy period is usually really difficult.
Burnout too.
But I think I want to approach things differently.
Okay, so let's do it. So this is your sign, guys. If you've been wanting to start The Artist's Way or have left it by the wayside for a long time, this is your sign to pick it up again or pick it up for the first time. You've inspired me. I have the audiobook saved and I've been like putting it off for a really long time.
Yes, no, you should check it out. And again, it might not work for everyone, and again, as everything, the attempt and trying to do it is really important.
Yes.
Rather than being perfect at it.
Yes.
So, if you have a really terrible day and you don't manage to wake up and you don't manage to write the pages.
Exactly.
I think knowing that the next day you can continue it,
of course,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
I think there's something in that, in us trying, which is already a big step.
I don't know if it's a saying, but a lot of people say done is better than perfect.
Yes.
Done is better than perfect.
Exactly.
So tell us a bit, Vic. Obviously, I know you and I know your journey into the industry. But director, writer and producer, obviously, you weren't born with those titles. Tell us how you acquired these, which one of these titles came first and how they came about out of necessity or whether they were like...
So I started acting and basically I started in a theatre school in Malta called Masquerade.
Very big theatre school in Malta.
And I started when I was 9 years old, and I had watched a panto. I think it's a classic story. I had watched a panto, and then my mom, she wanted me to do an extracurricular activity, and she was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I really want to go and do kind of drama classes." And my mom...
Was a surprise or not a surprise for her?
I think not a surprise, because I was the classic child who used to perform in front of my parents in the living room.
Very good. Classic.
I used to, I don't know, when we had a dinner party, try and come up with a theme or try and...
Very good.
I used to, on Christmas, I used to cook. I used to take over the kitchen.
How good.
I used to bake. So there was always something. Or in Carnival, I used to make original costumes and whatever. So there was always, creativity was always really important to me. I also, when I was quite young, I think in circumstances where I was in big groups of people, I used to feel quite shy, I think. So what it really helped me to come out of my shell.
Beautiful.
And I think she knew that it would as well. So
Drama was the thing you wanted to do.
drama was the thing what I wanted to do. I was terrified of singing as well. I was terrified of, but I did it.
Right.
And then, I got into it. And then I went to masquerade for, I think, over 10 years. And then when I was old and I had done older and I had done all the exams and all the everything, I was like, oh no, it's over. And then they had a musical theatre course. So I did the musical theatre course as well. Basically, going back to the trajectory. So when I had, towards my end of my time at Masquerade, before I then started teaching there.
This was A-levels? Or
I did, I think, like A-levels time. I did TMYT.
Which is the Manuel Youth Theatre
Yes,
Company in Malta, which is the National Youth Theatre Company.
Yes, exactly. So I did that with, mentored by Denise Mulholland, who's, I would say, one of the best directors in Malta.
I was literally messaging this morning. So hi, Denise, if you're listening.
And then during that period, I started to get really into devising and making work. And I started being more interested in the making of the work rather than performance side of things. There was just something exciting about, and to this day, my favorite part of anything is being in a room and not knowing what this piece is going to be, and over a few weeks you kind of figure that out with people. And to me that became the most exciting thing rather than performing in front of an audience. So I really started to get into the process and really started to enjoy that. So then I took up all the opportunities I could in Malta as a young person, directed a one-act play at the MADC One Act Play Festival, and I was one of the first people to actually write an original script, which was kind of shocking to the people leading it at the time.
It was a competition at the time.
Exactly. It was as in, they were like, what do you mean you're writing your own script? I'm like, I'm writing my own thing.
Yeah.
So so I was competing against people who got existing text.
Like a Samuel French or something like that.
And I decided to I was like, no, I'm just going to
write
it. And I wrote my first play and I directed it. And I remember my stage manager is one of my closest friends still, Emma Maria Tard.
Okay.
And after the first rehearsal, I was like, was I any good at this? Like at directing? I'm like, was I? And she's like, I think you really have a knack for this. It's like, I think you should like really pursue. And I was like, okay, great. So then I started gaining more confidence. It was a trial and error thing, like
obviously all the time.
Yeah. And it went really well. I end up winning Best Director.
Amazing.
And that was a confidence boost. And during that time, I also directed the Soirée, which is like a show at my sixth form. So it's the big show where 200 students take part.
Yes. His school that he went to growing up and in sixth form as well is very arts and theatre based.
Exactly. So I directed, I don't know how we did it. I directed Moulin Rouge there, which is
it's also a church school.
It's a church school, but
it's St. Aloysius for people who are.
Me and my co-director, we wrote a proposal. It was like 20 pages long.
Yeah.
And we put in what the costumes would look like, what the set would look like, what the tone of the piece would be. So we presented something that they couldn't really say no to, because they were like, these two really put a lot of work into it.
Into a proposal.
And they let us do it. And I did some sneaky stuff when we were rehearsing the show, in which I would purposefully skip certain scenes when the administration would come to watch.
Oh.
Because I knew that it might be controversial. And then when the show actually happened, they happened in the show and it was too late to say anything.
Forgiveness, not permission.
And I think people I thought that the quality of the show as compared to the usual work was quite of a high standard. Then people kind of just
let it slide.
Exactly. So I think I was always very ambitious, and I was always very this is what I want to do. I got really excited by it. I remember They didn't let me use it in the end, but I found a snake, and I wanted a snake to be part of the Moulin
Oh my
Rouge
God. And
whatever.
sixth form.
In sixth form, so I was always very kind of ambitious, and I always was like, let's push things, let's make this stuff happen. So there was something about that magic of theatre, of starting out with nothing and then making something communally with other people, that just became like intoxicating, really, and I just loved it.
Amazing. So it's director and writer. That's how
so that's how I started doing that, and then basically also got the chance to lead certain youth companies in Malta, like the Masquerade Youth Company, and I got to direct there. So yes, I was directing, as a late teen, early 20s. And then basically I decided to do my master's over here. And I decided to do my master's in arts and cultural management at King's College. And basically that choice was because I just wanted a way into the industry that was kind of learning about the industry that I was going to work in.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to know how to get the money to put on work. Funding, exactly. I wanted to know what the challenges in the industry were. And at the time, I wanted to keep my options open as well, as to maybe I would, work in a building or run a building, or,
rather than be a director.
Than just be a director, because I knew that financially, especially coming from a working class background, etc., where there was no financial support, it meant that right after university I needed to find a way to work, to stay in London.
Got you.
And I knew that just as a director that might have been hard. So then during my kind of masters, I started to get into theatre producing, and I did loads of short courses. I did a young producers course at Battersea Arts Centre.
Nice.
I did the stage 1 commercial producing course,
Very cool.
which was a West End producing course. So during that time, I just tried to gain as much knowledge as I could about the industry. And I also was developing myself as a director, because I started to watch a lot of experimental stuff.
Got you.
Which then led to me creating Panto in the Dark in Malta.
Which did very, very well.
So through what I was watching and absorbing, especially working a lot at Battersea Arts Centre, which does a lot of experimental work. So I started infusing that into my kind of artistic self as well. So I felt like I was growing in both directions.
Always pushing the boundaries,
Exactly.
always pushing form and what's on stage.
Yes, I was volunteering in weird shows, like set in cemeteries. I was
Very fun.
Yeah, I was like learning about what theatre could do and how it and how to make it happen, the practical producing logistic sides of it, but also the artistic sides of it.
Just how not to limit yourself.
Exactly. I was doing courses on immersive theatre and game theatre and all of this stuff as well. So exactly, I just got really interested in how to push the form. Basically, my first job was at Battersea Arts Centre, working front of house and bar and stuff like that, because I had done my dissertation in collaboration with them. So that was my way into the building.
Great.
And then I would shadow every department. We had development days, and what I did was I shadowed the marketing team, the HR team, the artistic director. So I started to learn how a building works. I started to sit in programming meetings.
Okay.
So I started to sit in meetings where people would chat about what should we program, what's currently current, what do people want to watch, why do people want to come to our building to watch things,
Who's our audience?
Exactly. So I started being part of those conversations. After a while at BAC, a job at China Plate came along.
A big production house.
They needed someone for a month, and the artistic director of BAC and the senior producer at the time, they recommended me because they knew how much I was like into it. Like I was sitting in meetings. I was running like open mic nights in the bar.
Nice.
And this is stuff that I kind of out of my own initiative.
Yeah, yes.
Then China Plate wanted me to stay for 3 months and then 6 months. So then eventually I left my job at BAC and I was an assistant producer at China Plate, which saw me working at the Fringe
All the time.
and then it saw me touring. This is my first like job outside of operation front of house job in London, and saw me working at the Royal Court, saw me working at the RSC, and it was like a baptism by fire almost, because I just was thrown into these very incredible building, working with these amazing artists and just learning as much as I can. And Paul, who run China Plate, every time I have any questions about, I get stuck with something, I call Ed and I'm like, Ed, this happened. I'm like this, because now I'm running my theatre company and I will get into that. But every time something comes up that's new, that I don't know how to handle, I just call Ed. I'm like, Ed, has this ever happened to you? And we have a chat and he's really amazing for that. So I think finding your people and mentors who are there, who've done it before you, is really important.
Amazing.
While I was working with China Plate, I went to watch a show by a company called CHALKLINE Theatre.
Lol, which is now Vikesh's company.
And that was run by Sam. And I watched his show and it was his debut show.
Okay.
And I was like, there's something really distinctive and polished and clear about the vision of this person, and I found it very, very interesting to watch and very kind of bold, in a Fringe festival where more and more, we're getting solo shows with not much set, not much intricacy in the theatricality of the work. This was very theatrical. So I was drawn to the work. And then Sam, because I went to watch it as industry, he could find me.
Yeah.
And he found me on Instagram and he messaged me. He asked me to produce his show in London.
Great.
And then I did
the
same show. So I did the transfer and he was unavailable for like some kind of re-rehearsals at the end of not rehearsals, but you know how sometimes you have a show watch. No, this was the show started and you have a show watch, and sometimes I would watch the show and then I would be like, send him notes on how it was going, right? Yeah. And then after that, he asked me to run the company with him.
Great.
And I said, I'm also a director. I also make my own work. And then we basically started co-directing work together.
Beautiful.
And after we directed our first show together, then I was like, okay, I will run the company with you, because I felt a sense of comfort and I really enjoyed the process.
And you shared the vision.
And we shared the vision, and it's really great working with Sam. And I think our company has a really clear style now, and we know what fits into what we do. And it's just great sharing. Even running a company is a lot, and it can be really tiring, it can be frustrating. So sharing that with someone else,
much easier.
It's amazing. It's great, and I'm very, very lucky. And it all happened because I was flyered to watch a show.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see, so guys, we're going to the Fringe this year.
Yes.
So Vikesh is actually producing a Maltese show that's going up at Summer Hall called Magnus Coffinky.
Yes, The Trials of Magnus Coffinky. Yes.
Produced by Vikesh, but also like it's an entirely Maltese team, I believe.
Yes, exactly.
Again, like take a chance on your flyer. One, because like it's a respect to them, because they're MC and like they're really out there, really trying to get you to watch the shows. But taking a chance at the Fringe can lead to so many great things.
It can definitely. And again, you tend to obviously watch the things that are, 5 stars, amazing, everyone's praising them. But sometimes if you watch something that is not perfect, but is the beginnings of something exciting, I think that's where you find the new voices, the innovation, etc. Not in the stuff that's like perfect.
In the stuff that's rough and ready, eh?
Exactly. And you can find some stuff like that you're like, wow, this performer is incredible.
And you'll be remembered.
Exactly. This performer is incredible. Maybe the writing isn't perfect. Maybe it needs some tweaks. But wow, their magnetism, or they
whatever
really
it is,
brought something.
And you'll be in the back of someone's mind.
Exactly. And to be honest, I have cast some shows we'll speak about it based on watching stuff at Fringe.
Great. So I'm going to jump into some quick fire questions
Yes.
so we get into the gear of
Yes,
casting
yes,
now.
yes.
For the next hour. Well, for the next 45 minutes. So for an actor, a spotlight or no spotlight?
I would say spotlight.
Agent or no agent?
I would say agent.
Amazing headshots with no reels on the spotlight, or good headshots with amazing reels on
Good headshots with amazing reels.
Okay. Working in film or working in television as a director?
If I were to work in either of them, it would be in film.
Okay.
Definitely.
Would you prefer to watch, screen, or theatre as yourself?
Oh, so both.
Then you can justify afterwards.
I can after.
Okay. Screen or theatre to work in?
Theatre.
And the favourite project you've ever cast?
The Nobodies.
The Nobodies. Great. So let's expand a little bit on the answers that you gave me.
Yes.
For spotlight or not, you said spotlight.
It's a good way to be seen. I filter through spotlight when I'm casting often, especially if I want something very specific. And it's a really good way to filter and see the group of people that you're looking for. Yeah.
It's an industry standard at the end of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
And agent or no agent, you said agent. I'm really interested as to why. And you as a director as well, do you have an agent? Or
no, so as I'm specifically, I think, talking about actors. Yes. I think for directors a bit more complicated. I've heard mixed things. I feel like maybe I'm talking ignorantly, but from what I've heard, I think an agent would be really useful to negotiate really complex contracts, especially if you're working on bigger projects with royalties involved and all of this stuff. But I think for directing, for me at least, it's a lot of networking, it's a lot of meeting people, it's a lot of showing my work. I've been talking to different people actually about their different opinions on it, and I'm still making a decision on whether it's the right time to find one for me or not.
Got you.
But in terms of actors, I think it is important to people. It's just connections, right?
Yes.
People putting you up for things. I don't think it's impossible to be self-represented.
I don't think
at all. No. I think there's not a one size fits all.
Yes.
But I think just having a good relationship, again, if you have a good agent, if you have everything else in life,
exactly,
it could be someone who's in your corner really working hard, or someone who's not.
Or it's also really useful to have a mediator between you and the
It is very useful, and it's also just having someone putting you up for things and who's on your corner. I think there can be a safety to that. Again, if it feels like it's the right relationship, you know what I mean?
Amazing. And so you said amazing reels and good headshots.
Yes.
Why?
Basically, if I don't see a reel
on a spotlight,
it's rare that I would cast this person if I don't see them act.
Truth bomb.
It's rare if I really want them just based on the headshots, which is very rare and experience. Then I would ask for a self-tape to see something,
If you really want, but that's a really...
But I really want to cast based on talent.
Got you.
How am I going to see if you're talented or not? If I don't see you act.
From your profile picture.
So I really need to see something in the person. I can tell from the first, 30 seconds. But I need that. It's not that I need, hours of footage. I just need something.
A flavor.
Yes.
To see you animate yourself.
Exactly, yes.
Amazing. Now, you said out of working in film or television, you'd really like to work in film out of the two.
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason for that?
So I am a big film person.
Okay.
So first of all, I have a big love for film. So the idea of you have one story being told in a 2-hour or 3-hour span from beginning to end, and that's a complete thing. To me, there's something in that I like the form of that.
Okay. Similar to theatre.
Similar to theatre, exactly. Similar to theatre. While with television, how can I say this in a way?
It bugs me.
So, no. So television, and again, there are exceptions to the rule. But the television is that you're making a season 1 with the hopes of maybe making a season 2 and a 3 and a 4. you don't know the end.
Until it's dependent on other people.
Yeah, you don't know when you're writing a film script or a play script.
You're pitching that.
And you've done that ending because of this bit before that came, and you know the whole thing, right?
Yes.
While trying to find ways of extending your story that was meant to be one season long.
Beating the dead horse.
It's not something that excites me as much as just telling a really good story once.
Nice.
So I think that's why.
But you also said that obviously screen and theatre for you are things you both like to watch in your life.
Yes. And don't get me wrong, I like TV as well.
Yes.
But I love the communal experience of being in a cinema, being in a theatre with other people. While TV is more of a personal art form.
I mean, the art form of the limited series is now the hot thing, as you say, because you're pitching the thing that ends.
So I would much rather do a limited series, which to me is an extended film.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Than something that runs for many seasons. And it's also a practical thing of I get really addicted to if I watch TV. So I end up not sleeping, binging, like watching for ages. While a film, that self-contained thing that you watch it. And you sleep. You know, you reflect on it, you think about it, but it's that one thing, or it's the highlight of your week that week. Yeah. You know, I just love that about it. And I love being in a dark room with strangers and connecting in that way.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
And then you said your favourite project to cast was The Nobodies.
Yes.
Tell me why.
That was a proper ensemble piece in which it was 3 people who had equal weight in the show.
Yeah.
And that taught me a lot, because it was a process in which it was the first time I did an open call for auditions in that way. And basically we had so many applicants, so having to watch so many show reels and then narrowing it down. While nowadays it's more, the casting process is more
streamlined.
You want someone, you contact their agent, it's a bit different. Or you watch someone in something and you're like, I really want to work with them. But this was just open, you know. It was an open process. And basically we had the first round of auditions. Then we narrowed it down. Then we had the second round and the recalls. And then we couldn't decide. We did another recall round.
Wow.
And basically, what I really liked about this process, what really showed me, was that there was, it was about the chemistry between the 3 of them.
It wasn't just one person you wanted.
So it wasn't just about talent. There's so much talent.
Everyone's good.
There's so much talent. So much. It's about, is it believable, in the case of the Nobodies, that this guy would manipulate this guy?
Okay.
Is it believable?
Like
that
structure.
That if you see them together, the energy of this guy would infiltrate this other person.
It's so detailed.
Is it believable that the female character would hold her own against these 2 lads?
Boys.
You know? Like, does she have that spark?
Yes.
Does she have that, you know? So I just kept seeing different iterations of the 3 people, like with different people. So it'd be like, this boy with this boy and this girl. Then take this boy away, put someone else in. So I just kept seeing the different permutations of the 3 of them. And then it was a case of which 3 people work best together, rather than who's the best. It was a real learning curve, because I think a part of me was always like, it's going to be clear who the best person is and But it's actually about what works for that particular project.
Yes.
And who works together well, you know. So that taught me a lot. I thought it was great. Now the people I worked with out of that, you know, from strangers, they've become lifelong friends and collaborators. So yeah, I love it.
Very well received show as well.
Yes, and we had a fantastic time making it as well.
Amazing. That's another thing I wanted to touch upon, because obviously the Nobodies had recently come to Malta as well.
The Nobodies came to Malta, not recently, it came to Malta in
like a year or 2
21, 22.
Damn, it was that long.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways.
Yes.
So basically,
During social distancing.
and off the back of the Nobodies, which was your first show with the company, remind
With
me.
CHALKLINE as a
As a
director, yes.
And then off of the back of that, you cast the Fringe show, which is, well, not off of the back of that, but after that, you did the Fringe show that went up in 20...
No, after that we did Blanket Ban.
Blanket Ban with Marta.
With Marta and Davinia.
That was CHALKLINE as well.
That was CHALKLINE,
Great.
Yes. And then we did the Chaos That Has
Chaos
Been
That
and
Has
Will
Been
No
and
Doubt
Will No Doubt
Return.
Return.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
And tell me a bit about, because obviously Nobodies was an open call, as you said.
Yeah.
And I recently auditioned for an open call, and they told me that for 6 parts they had 8,000 applicants.
No, now it's
a bit crazy.
At the time it was about 700, but now
For 3 parts.
But now the numbers are in the thousands.
So this just so as well, the people watching have an idea of the landscape at the moment as we're speaking. This is 2026. I auditioned for something that had an open call in London, and it's a touring production of Turn Off the Screw, I think. Maybe I'll edit that out, but. Basically 8,000 applicants for 6 roles. That means for the role that I was bargaining for, there were 800 other people, more or less. With such a volume of people, even 700 is a lot of people to go
It is,
through.
and at the time I was like, oh my God, how are we going to get through all this? And now my friends are like, some of my director friends are like, oh yeah, 5,000 people applied. And I'm like,
how is that? How are you biding your time? Are you alive?
So I don't do a lot
So
of
it is
that
no
anymore.
wonder as well that we are moving towards a direct offer industry, because obviously it's just too oversaturated. Anyways, for you, when it's an open call of such magnitude, what is something that you've noticed really sticks out to you in a good way and in a bad way? So like, for example, you said no reels, for sure I'm not going to see them.
I think sometimes it's interesting. I think the agents, they just put their clients up for everything.
Okay.
And I think sometimes I'm like, did you read the costing breakdown? Because this isn't the right age or the right vibe or the right ethnicity of what we've put out. And I think that's why you end up with numbers in the thousands as well. Because sometimes it's not the right people that a lot of them are not. And you end up cutting 1,000 people just based on the fact that they're just not right.
They've got blue eyes when you ask for brown.
For example. So I think there's that. Not having a reel is, a way that...
You stick out in a bad way.
In a bad way. In a good way, your show reel. Your show reel has to be... I can tell very quickly if someone, is good through their show reel.
Great.
And then obviously, again, it's not the most important thing, but something that I also look at is experience and roles of what people have done.
If you've seen them in anything.
If I've seen them in anything. If they've worked with directors I know. So there's also that aspect of it. But I'm not going to discount people because they don't have any experience.
Okay.
So if I see a show reel that someone really is like, whoa,
really good.
Yeah. If they don't have the experience of other people, I still see them because that's how you find new voices and you find new people. No,
at the end
it's
of the
like someone has to be given a chance at some point. No.
Yes.
So
and then tell me, because that was an open call process, how did you cast for Chaos then? Was that an open call or was that like more
it was more
director?
Through Spotlight. We would look at people, we would filter
by ethnicity or by location.
Exactly, or age range, playing range and whatever. And then we would look through profiles and we would look through that. And then we would ask, for example, for a client's availability. And then if they're not available, often agents would then send us someone else.
Okay.
They'd be like, but my other client, this is a good agent.
Yes.
They'd be like, but my other client's
is
available.
And in the bracket.
And I've cast like that.
Very
so
good.
Sometimes I wanted someone, they weren't available. The agent sent me another client. I called them in to audition. And I'm like, great. And they end up getting the part.
Do you have an example of that you can give us? Or like?
I have some examples of shows, as in, it's happened more than once.
Great.
Very
good.
It's happened more than once.
But that's another reason to add to the pros list of getting an agent.
Yes. So your agent, if they're a good agent, they're gonna, be in your corner, push for you.
Even when they're not looking for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we always audition people, so then we would have, 10 actors, 20 actors, 30 actors, and we would see them in the role. So we'd still audition them.
Yeah.
Rarely is it just, I think almost never, just giving a role without hearing them read.
Got you.
Especially for a play, like if I'm seeing your TV acting or your show reel, then that's the first step.
Okay.
Then I want to see if you take command of a stage.
Got you.
I need to see you in person, and I need to see
Your vibe.
Your
Yes.
vibe. I love it when someone walks into the room and your expectations of what the role is change.
Because they've given their spin.
Yes, and you're like, I never imagined it this way, but this is better.
Nice.
And you're like, what?
You're an artist at the end of the day.
I just love it. And sometimes an actor would make a really crazy choice and they'd leave the room, and it's often me and Sam casting together, and I'd turn to Sam and I'd be like, yes, they're the one. Because they would just do something. I'd be like, what, where, how?
Amazing.
So
That's
I
what
know
you
it's
want
a
to work
cliche, but make a bold choice.
Yes.
I mean, that's mine.
In terms of when you do get open calls of that and you get 700 applicants,
Yeah.
or now in the thousands,
Yeah.
you as a person, as a director, are you going through all of those submissions? Or would you scroll to the bottom to see who, submitted first and go your way up, for example?
Yes, we're often, we're a 2-person team, so at least we can split the work between us.
How many submissions would you go through in a day, usually, if you had 700 to go through?
I'd say I'd go through 100.
A day?
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. Because as I said, show reel quickly, you can, and then you kind of narrow it down, and then you go through them again, the ones that stood out. But the first process is a brutal process. It's not an easy.
It's Tinder. Swipe left, swipe right.
It is quite rigorous, especially when there's so many constraints, financial constraints.
Your time.
All of this stuff. So the first process is brutal, and then you start, going into more detail, and then in the audition, then I like to give as much time as I can to every person. And I just want to say how much I respect and love actors. Mm-hmm. I just think the industry can be really difficult. I think the process is quite brutal. I think people give so much of themselves. I just have so much respect for people putting themselves out there. And the fact that you have to go through this process so quickly and be so brutal.
Yeah.
I don't love that about it. You know what I mean? I wish I could give more time
to lots more people. But that's not the reality of the industry.
Exactly. Yes.
But it is, again, I think the endeavor to do this podcast is to prove to myself that it's not me. It is just the industry is this way, where it's that's why it's 30 seconds, because they have 5,000 other people to go through.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I'm not special. And if I'm getting butthurt about it, it's because I think I'm special, but I'm not.
Exactly. And it's unfortunately there is a vibe thing for the role, for that particular thing.
That role in the vision of that director.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's in the vision of 2 directors, which is even more specific, as you were saying.
Yes.
But so tell me a bit about it. So once you've narrowed it down, got people in the room and stuff, before people actually hear back from you, whether it's an unfortunately email or a congratulations email, what is going on behind the scenes before you make that decision, licensing, or I don't know, sometimes there's a bit of a delayed.
So sometimes you have a role that's really crucial.
Got you.
Either the lead role or a role that it's not difficult to find so many of those kind of people that you need for that specific role.
Got you.
And you find that person.
Okay.
And then you ask that person if they can do it.
Availability.
And you wait. While you're waiting, you have other people waiting. And sometimes it's like, if my first choice says yes, then I want to cast A and B to go with them.
Okay.
But if my first choice says no, I will go to my second choice. But then the A and B might be different.
So it might be C and D.
Exactly.
Damn.
To go with them.
But there's all that like time in between to say the yes or to say the no from the other end.
Exactly. Because you're literally like, I don't see these people working together. But if I get this person, then yes, they'll work with them.
Nice.
You know, so there's a lot of like calculation going on in that
the casting work.
Yes, and then often as well, it's an availability thing where we have this thing now with theater versus TV and film. Sometimes TV, they keep people on hold. For a long time.
Yes, penciled.
For the agents to get a definite answer whether that person is available to do the show, the play.
It's dependent on this pencil.
And then you're putting pressure on the agent to be like, can you get an answer? Can you get an answer? Because we have people waiting. Like, if your client can't do it, da-da-da. So there's all of this stuff happening behind the scenes, which is why people are waiting. And the whole TV thing is that they just block actors out for a long period of time. And sometimes they don't even call them. They could have done the play after all. Like, it's a whole thing.
But I got an email this week, like, for an audition I had done for a role in a Fringe show. I auditioned for it in February, and only this week they said release our pencils for August. Like, this is like now, as in, you know, it's really crazy. And it's a large scale production, as in, it's not like a Fringe show in the corner of, you know, Monash. It's like a main stage Fringe show, which is a bit insane. But anyway.
No, it is insane. It is insane. So yeah, that's why the waiting happens.
That makes sense, and it's also good to know.
Yeah.
Why not? Have you ever worked with a casting director before? Or is it mainly you guys that are
No, I haven't. I haven't had the experience of working with that. It's usually it's us. I think it's also very important to note that the actors that we work with have to have a sense of our shows. Obviously, we are a new writing company, but we love devising processes. So we love processes in which people try things, we try different things, they give us different things, they give us different offers, and we have that communicative, collaborative way of working.
You recruit artists, not actors.
Exactly. So in the audition process, we often tell people, we direct people, we tell them to try things in different ways, etc. Because we want to know that they are in the spirit of making work in that way. So sometimes, again, getting costs is also based on that.
Got you. That's my favorite way to work as well. So I'm totally with you there. Also, for example, when you're reviewing self-tapes for different scales of project. So, for example, I'm sure for Chaos it looked a bit different to Nobody's because then you went on a big tour and stuff, and I don't know if you had to recast and stuff like that. But are you and Sam usually watching tapes together if you're asking for self-tapes after the first initial brutal round? Or are you watching them separately and then like swapping notes? Are you watching them on a big TV or on your laptop at home? What's your setup?
So I guess it really depends on our schedule. On our scheduling. So if both our schedules are similar during the casting process, it means we would sit down together and watch things together. If not, we would split the work. You know, we would take... Because if Sam is not too keen on somebody...
It's unlikely that you're going to be keen on them.
As in, even if I am, we're not going to direct a show together with one of us not being happy.
Of course not.
You know what I mean?
Which is another variable for us as well.
Exactly. So, and again, just there have been projects in which... I don't want to specify which ones because obviously... But there have been projects in which one of us is happy with a decision and the other one isn't. And what I do in that scenario is I open another round.
Okay.
Because I'm like, we're not going to be spending
of course
3 weeks with these people and one of us is not sure.
Yes, of course.
So And whenever we've done that, it's always served us.
It's an
'Cause
unhappy marriage.
we end up
Yes,
finding
that's
we end
yes.
up finding someone that's even greater, or even that we're even more excited about for that particular role.
Perfect.
So if you're really unsure, it's a risky business to go into a process with that feeling.
Compromise but not sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's the aim, I think, when it comes, especially if you're co-directing.
Yes.
And is it on your laptop you usually watch them, or on a big TV or something?
I watch them on my laptop normally, yes.
And if people are singing, you have headphones in or headphones out?
I normally watch them in my house, so I don't watch them with headphones.
Yeah, that's really helpful, because like singing can sound terrible.
No, I just watch them on my laptop with the sound full on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then now we're actually talking about this the other day. Obviously you mentioned to me that you're feeling like you're being called to redo your coffees with everyone and go to shows and show your face and stuff like this.
Yeah.
How often is it that you actually attend shows or screenings that you've been involved in, or shows or screenings in general as well, looking for people?
I watch loads.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of plays in even a week.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly going to things, I'm constantly watching things, I'm constantly looking at what the industry is kind of going towards, what people are enjoying, different tastes, etc. So I do that a lot. In terms of kind of networking, I haven't really done that in a while. What I mean is actively going to networking events, asking for coffees and whatever.
Yeah.
Because I've been luckily I've been very busy
In work, yes.
and working. But I think if you want to take that next step, which is, I think, everyone at some point, no matter where you are, no matter what you've done, you always want to be like, okay, so what's next? How can I get better? How can I do bigger work? How can I work with different people, etc.? And in order to do that, you always have to go through the process of, okay, it's time to do that now.
Yeah.
Put your headspace in that. Okay, coffees, okay,
Watching their
networking
show,
events,
yes.
watching shows, So then you put yourself in that headspace,
Because and how important is that for you?
Sorry?
How important is that for you?
It's very important because it gives you... So if you think about it in terms of a company, if you look about it about any company in any industry, you have the day-to-day operations of the company, which take up a lot of the time because you need to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's when you're in work, right? But if the company doesn't stop to think about their strategic aims and goals,
what's next?
They're not going to grow as a company. They're going to stay in the same place. And that's for us as individuals as well.
And for actors as well.
And for actors. Is that time of reflection, that time of, this is what I'm doing.
For this overarching goal.
Exactly. And questioning whether you're still enjoying yourself. Why are you enjoying yourself? Why are you not enjoying yourself? Is this giving you? Is this feeding you?
How is the industry changed?
How is the industry changing? What do I need to do to feel happier in my role as an actor, as a director, as a writer? How is this affecting my relationships? How is this affecting other factors of my life?
Of course.
But you only have that time in quiet time. So my advice, I guess, is in your quiet time, actually reflect.
Yeah.
Don't just shut down until the next job comes, but use that time to live your life and to reflect on what you want and what the next thing is. Because otherwise you get stuck in a loop, in a rat race.
And you'll burn out.
You'll burn out and you won't even recognize why you're doing
it anymore. That's where I'm at the moment. Yeah. And what this is. Obviously, we were mentioning about like going to see things and stuff and like, not scouting. I hate the word scouting, but like looking out and keeping people in the back of your head, as we said and we mentioned. How often do you actually get actors introducing themselves to you? So like in your emails, you get someone saying, hi, this is me, this is my profile. Like, I'd like to invite you to see this. How useful is that for you?
I think because I have a theatre company, I get that a lot.
Okay.
So we do get a lot of people. Actually, we have our open submissions for plays, But then throughout the year, outside of the open submissions, we get a lot of emails about plays. That unfortunately, outside of the open submissions, we can't really read because we're still reading the open submissions. So we get a lot of emails from writers, we get emails from actors to watch them in shows. So we get a lot of that, and I try to go to as much as I can when I'm not too busy with my own work. I can't think of a definite no.
Okay, that's great.
So
Vikesh is up for anything.
I am, yes. I can't think of like someone inviting me and me not being like, if I can go, I would go.
Not scared of heights or anything.
No, I think if it was like, I don't know. It depends what they're asking for. Like if it's like an actor being like, I'd love to work with you one day. I'm doing the show, come and watch me. It can be anything and I'll go.
Cool.
But if it's like a writer writing to me for CHALKLINE Theatre and it is a classic play, if it has nothing to do with what we do.
With your mission statement.
You know, or if it's just nothing to do with what we do, but again, I'm struggling to find what that would be.
Yeah.
But if someone sent us an invite and it just had nothing to do with our work, you know, rich people having conversation in a living room.
About killing...
Like...
peasants. I don't know.
I'm a bit... exactly. I'm a bit like, have you researched our company and what we do?
Why don't you tell us, just for people watching as well, if you're wanting to reach out to Vikesh or to CHALKLINE, whether you're a writer, whether you're a director, or whether you are an actor yourself, what is your mission statement as CHALKLINE and what are you looking for in general?
So we do socio-political theatre. So our theatre is always about... the now, but it's also always about something that we feel like we need to speak about or that the world should discuss. Yeah. So we've done a play about NHS hospitals closures, which is The Nobodies, blanket ban about the abortion ban in Malta. Our last play, Chaos, was about... it was a coming-of-age story, but it was about knife crime and class. Yeah. So there's always a commentary about something there. And another thing that is very much in our wheelhouse is playfulness and theatricality.
Okay.
So that is something that we're always, you know, looking for in the pieces that we make.
And you guys pick up work as well as make new work yourselves?
So it's a combo of, we often, you know, get new writing in our inbox and we read it and we meet the writers, etc. But then, you know, once in a while, like Sam wrote Chaos and it was a personal story to him and everything. So that's when then, you know, he wrote something and we put it up in that way.
Nice.
So it really depends on what we feel like we should be doing at the time.
Amazing. And what's next for CHALKLINE then? Are we allowed to know or...
Yes, so basically regarding CHALKLINE, we're hoping to put up some stuff that we R&D'd last year. We're hoping to put that up next year.
Nice.
So that is the plan. So every so often we do an open call and we choose a play or two and we get funding, we do research and development with the writer and a couple of actors in collaboration with a venue. And then what we do after that is we try and get funding then to put up the show either the following year or the year after, depending on when we get funding, basically. Yeah. So hopefully next year we're putting on 2 shows. And at the moment we're in the process of selecting our other new plays from our open call.
Amazing.
So that would be then for maybe in 2 years' time or a year and a half time. To start thinking about putting those up. Yeah. And with CHALKLINE, we're also currently working with NGYT, which is a company based in Luton, on like some kind of projects and workshops and school tours that we're building with them as well.
So youth theatre.
Exactly. So we're also working with them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mela, closing comments and just like some things to bring us back all to the casting world.
Yeah.
Jumping really back, What's the first thing that you notice on someone's spotlight usually?
Their photo, their picture.
Their main headshot.
Yes. Their main headshots.
How much does the written submission box actually matter when the breakdown isn't something specific? So let's say you're calling out for the nobodies and you got these 700 submissions. You see the little icons, and people we as actors can write in to say like, hi, I'm Julianne, I advise a lot, blah, blah, blah. Or people can just write nothing and submit their photo. Do you think it makes a difference when people are writing in?
Yes. Yes, it makes a huge difference, actually.
Okay.
If someone has, especially in our work, the social political work we do, if someone somehow has a connection to the work, I mean, that's a massive bonus,
Yeah.
It's a massive bonus for us because they get the world that we're trying to explore. Immediately, yes.
Very cool. And do you ever complete a discount on represented actors, or are they still very much in the mix?
No, I don't discount them.
Okay.
I don't discount them, and sometimes I've had friends who are like, you have to see this person.
Okay.
And I trust some friends like a lot with these things, and when they tell me you have to see them for this role, even if they're not represented, I'll see them.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much has, I mean, we've mentioned it a lot, but like casting and the industry changed since you've been in London for the last 10 years?
So as we said, I mean, it's so competitive. It was, but now it's like, I don't know what's going on, but basically
I don't know what's going on either.
but basically there is this sense of, even people, I have friends who've done big shows.
Directors as in?
No, I'm talking about actors here. I can talk about both, but in terms of actors, I've known people who've done huge shows who, then struggle to get anything for a year or 2 years. So there is a sense of, I think, it's getting more and more competitive. In theatre, there is this appetite for celebrity casting.
Because people don't have money to take risk. That's the problem here
Yes.
in the UK. Like with the tickets, as an audience members don't have the money to...
There is... Where is the opportunity for people who are not known? Where's the opportunity for people who have done big things but aren't famous?
Yeah.
So it's becoming more and more about what following you have on social media, what you can bring in terms of sales to the show. It's becoming more and more business, it's detrimental to art, in my opinion.
It's not an arts industry anymore. It's just
Yeah. So I think I've seen that those conversations and that change happen, unfortunately. I think, nepotism is also very, you can really see it and feel it.
But do you think it's gotten worse, or do you think it's just been more revealed to you as time goes by?
I don't know. Seeing the numbers of people auditioning for things, I don't know. That means that there's a real hunger and lack and a lot of people out of work.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I get the feeling, just as an observer, that is increasing.
Okay.
Also, I read recently that 50% of, there was a drop in 50% of how many people decided to do their A-level in drama or something.
Wow.
In the last few years. And I think that is because people feel like we're regressing and we're making less space for people
to express themselves,
to be able to join the industry and be part of it. I think there's a bit of a crisis in terms of people not feeling like they're welcome and can be a part of it due to financial barriers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's that, because also with the cost of living crisis and stuff, you have to somehow keep working.
But you can't if you're a freelance actor.
Exactly. You have to do alternative, obviously, jobs and other things to keep going, which has always been the case. But I think there might be a bit of a resistance to wanting that kind of life.
Yes, I feel a very big class divide as well.
Yes,
as an immigrant, I always hear a very specific accent and a very specific demographic in spaces that I really wish to be in.
Yes, and I think, speaking personally about my own self and my own career then as a director and stuff, immigrants have to work so much harder.
we also have the lucky, for me, in my opinion, we
Yes.
have the lucky straddle of going back to Malta and
Yes.
working whenever we like.
Exactly. So that is a blessing in the fact that
It's
we have
very
to
a Maltese
that we have 2 markets to work in.
Yes.
That's amazing. But in terms of this
Over here,
I feel like I'm well into now mid-career
for sure,
place now.
For sure.
And if you look at the people at the top, the directors directing big shows, all of them were 99% of them are British, brought up here.
Yeah.
You really have to fight to get through.
Except Ivo Van Hove.
Exactly. But you really have to believe in yourself.
Yes.
And you really have to be happy with working no matter what the work is, what the scale is.
Yeah.
And that's something I've had to learn.
No ego.
Exactly. That's something that I have had to just be like refocusing my brain, being like, am I interested in working on the story? Am I interested in working with these people? Does the pay meet my time?
Yep.
You know? And that's enough.
Criteria. That's it.
Rather than I directed a show in a venue of this scale. Now I should be directing a show in this scale at this point.
Yes.
It's not like
it's
that.
It's not married, get kids, get a house, all this.
No, it's just enjoying the journey, enjoying the stories you get to tell, enjoying the people you get to work with.
Beautiful.
And that is enough.
Nice.
You know? And as soon as I made that switch in my brain, I've just had the best time.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And now you're doing the artist way, so you're going to have an even better time. Closing a question from my end, which is really difficult to ask because obviously Vikesh was part of my first ever professional, not credit, but like gig ever, which was Mara.
Mm-hmm.
And Vikesh was in the room. I remember when we got the Pleasance. I remember when they gave us the venue and stuff.
Yes.
So I've known literally from the moment I turned professional, which was in that room.
Yeah.
If you didn't know me and you met me on the street and this was the first time you were ever seeing me, what casting bracket would you put me in?
I would cast you, first of all, the most obvious, clear thing is playing young.
Okay.
So if I was directing a show where there was a young character, but it was very, the themes and everything were really heavy or mature.
Okay.
So I couldn't obviously get a child actor because I wouldn't want to work on a show like that with a child actor.
Fair enough.
Then that is, I think, a perfect kind of casting for you. There's also something quite quirky, I think, about you as well. So there's also something quite, I see kind of darkness as well.
Okay.
So I like the idea of you can seem really innocent, really sweet, really cute, but then there's something darker lurking beneath. So I think in terms of contemporary drama, I think there's a lot of those kind of characters written in them.
Nice.
So I definitely think you have a very contemporary feel about you.
Thank you.
Which I think would suit a lot of contemporary kind of plays. And I also, just knowing you then, I know that you're quite bold. I know that you would you are not afraid of experimentation, are not afraid of trying things, of going for things. Again, that leans to quite challenging contemporary material. You know, things like Philip Ridley, you know, things like that.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, would see you in that.
Thank you so much, Vic.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention whilst you come on, or am I okay to?
No, I think I'll just reiterate that, like, since this is about casting, you know, I would reiterate that the most unique thing that you can bring is yourself. And I think we are in a world where it's telling us to change in order to adhere to certain boxes. And I think betraying yourself is not worth being part of this industry. And it's not going to get you far.
Yeah.
The most important thing is to recognize your strengths, to recognize what you bring to the table.
Nice.
And really working on those things, on being the best version of who you are already, rather than trying to become someone else. The more that I've worked in this industry and the more that I watch actors and artists and admire them, in the past, I used to think that a good actor is good because they can transform themselves. But the older I get and the more I work with people, the more I think a good actor sheds all the layers to really find who they really are. And they find themselves in the character, which is a difference there. So I think if you bring yourself, if you see yourself in that character in some way or another, if you find that version of you that's in there, that's when you found something special. Rather than I'm going to put on something to try and be that. Right? And I think that shift in perspective will open a lot of doors.
Thank you so much, Vikesh. And thank you everyone for watching as well. Break legs for future.
Thank you.
I'll see you very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you.
It was lovely.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.